Hi, this is Bethany Boring, and welcome back to the Radical Care for Christian Counselors podcast. And I am so excited that you're joining us for this series. Now, just to make sure you're in the right place, the Radical Care for Christian Counselors podcast is really for anybody, but especially those who are normally doing one-on-one interactions and have a longing to get over the isolation and overwhelm through impactful and transformational groups. Now, we're going to be doing something a little different the next couple weeks if you're joining us, because here's the thing that all of us have to look forward to and do at some time. If we're doing anything with groups, we have to tackle projects. And one of the projects that I've gotten to tackle lately is my new book. Here it is. The Joy Catcher. If you have not gotten this book, it is now available on Amazon, and it might be available in your newest bookstore. Just check it out and hopefully you'll be able to find it. But this has been a longing of mine to create a children's book for a long time. Now, I'll say this. You're going to follow along the next couple weeks in a little bit of the conversation that I got to have with my illustrator, Lowri Williams. And I'm not going to spoil it, but the way that we connected around dreams, well, I think you understand. It involves coaching and a little bit of group work and teamwork. And so my biggest question is, as you're listening to this, what dream can you connect for someone today? I'll see you back in a minute. How would you encourage someone that may have somebody with them right now that believes in their work, but they're scared? They're like, they're going through that whole, like, we call it imposter syndrome over here.
Yeah.
And this, yeah, right. So somebody that's going through that, how would you suggest? Because you had to take some of the couple steps. So what
I
would
think
you?
it's literally just a case of like believing in yourself, and you just need to, as scary as it is, you need to just like join Facebook groups. Like I'm in so many like illustration and illustrate children's book illustrator groups on Facebook, and just try and network as much as possible. Like I like in the last year I've like tried to stay active on LinkedIn, and I'm really bad at it, but trying to stay active on social media like Instagram and just
Mm,
making that platform for yourself. And although I'm not where I want to be yet, like I still obviously aspire to be a lot more than what's now, but like in the last year I've grown so much as an illustrator, and like
oh,
my work has developed so much that I can even now see that. And
wow.
I think you just need to just keep pushing yourself and just working harder like each time. And eventually you'll get there.
I
Fingers
love
crossed.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. And that's the coolest thing about this project because we're both like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, it's just we didn't know what we were doing, some of the stuff. But I think that was the really neat part about this one is that we both wanted to go on that journey.
Yeah.
And we both
I think
agreed, like, okay, yeah.
yeah. The hardest part for me, I think, was actually just accepting that I need other people to see my work. And like in my head, I want to be this really big, successful illustrator. But also the other part of me was battling um that my confidence was not in a place like where it is now. And like
Mm,
my confidence was so low, I was like, oh, I don't want anyone to see my work. So even just sending you the link to my Instagram was really difficult. And yeah,
yeah.
it's I think just the main thing that illustrators need to know is to keep just keep advertising yourself by posting links. And like if you see a um advertisement for a job that you could be interested in, you need to just send them a message, and
Yeah.
you never know where it can go.
I love that. And to see. And one thing I'm hearing, and this could apply to pretty much anything and everywhere, is just that idea of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right? On both sides. I mean, with you, yes, putting your artwork there, and that's hard. That is
Mm.
hard and sharing, especially, I mean, the hours you spend designing and putting it. And I loved, you didn't notice you did this. Maybe you did, but I loved it because you're like, well, here's my drawing. And if you don't like it, it's okay. We could change anything. I'm like, just show me it. I wasn't like that, but I was like, okay, and it was so I loved it. It was like, it's awesome. I love it. This is great, And so just going through that, but I know that fact of just like, because I felt the same thing before I sent the words. And I will speak to this as well. The reason I think this project is so unique and special as well is because we do talk about charge syndrome. And charge
Yeah.
syndrome is one of those challenge. I mean, it's a challenge period, but there's
Mhm.
such a wide spectrum. You cannot say this is exactly what charge syndrome looks like. It's so
Yeah.
wide, it's so various. Everybody's got so many different stories. And I think, and I'm going to talk about this too, combined with this vulnerability fact, is that regardless of what field you're in, regardless of where you're being vulnerable in your life, where you're putting artwork out or where you're sharing your story, we run into the comparison trap.
Yeah.
My artwork's not as good as somebody else's. My story's not as good as somebody else's. I ran into that because here I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna put my story about baseball in there and it's fun, but I'm like, I'm thinking about some of these other kids that are just in really hard situations right now. Like we have friends that, are connected to feeding tubes in order to eat. We have friends that can't walk. We have friends that are struggling even to verbalize. We have friends that are living independently. We have friends that are still living with parents or living with siblings or whatever that looks like. We have friends that drive. We have friends that will never drive. I mean, there's just so many things out there. So I struggled. I'm like, who am I to share this
Yeah.
little story when there's parents and there's kids that are dealing with so much more and have charge syndrome? How do I respect them and love them? And one thing I had to realize, and it's when I had friends, but also God is just like, Bethany, just share your story. You are not responsible. This is hard. You are not responsible for how people understand and read your story. You're not
Yeah.
responsible for them even going, great story, we love it, we totally interact. The only thing you're responsible is by sharing and putting it out there in a loving way for those that are willing to receive it. He's like, do
Yeah.
you have people out there that need to receive it? And I was like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, I meet this person named Lori, and she's like, these words are great. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, ah, I guess there is something there. So that was huge for me. So all the way back to that reality of what I just shared with vulnerability with you and sharing your artwork and the comparison. I mean, can you speak? Has that ran into your life? And it doesn't even necessarily be artwork, it can, but have you ran into that struggle about, I want to share myself, but I don't know how so and so is going to feel about it, or I don't know how I compare? Like, does that ring a bell with anything that you've walked through?
I think just the whole of my illustration like journey has been like that. Like even the idea of moving away to uni, like I
Mm,
was such a dependent girl on my family before I moved
mm,
away. And like it there was even a conversation with my parents once when I was looking. So obviously I went to the University of Plymouth for my undergrad and my master's. And I was like, oh, I wanna go to the open day in Plymouth. And my parents were just kind of looked at me and were like, really? Like, are you sure? That's 3 hours away. And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, like it looks really nice. It's meant to have like a really good art department. Like I'd like to look at what it's like for illustration. And even at the time, they didn't even think I could do it because
Mm,
I was so just not independent at all. And and then I went to the open day, like, and loved the uni, and then decided, like, there and then that's where I wanted to go.
wow.
And I moved like 3 hours from home, and it
Now,
was the
wait,
most
wait, 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 wait,
powerful.
wait. I gotta ask you a question. You go and you're like, I liked it, and I just moved 3 hours. Like, what?
Yeah,
That had to
obviously
be
not at the
hard.
same
Like,
time. Obviously not at the same time, but
but
like
that's huge
I
to
I
actually
applied.
move. Yeah.
Yeah, like I applied for the obviously to study illustration there, got
Hmm.
accepted, had an interview. My conditional offer got changed to an unconditional. So I like secured the place like immediately. And I I got ready to move and the September come round and I moved to uni in a different country. Obviously, I moved to England from Wales,
Yeah.
and like 3 hours from home. Not really. I couldn't even cook at that point. Like I tried to boil an egg
Wow.
while I was at home without watering
Yeah.
the pan. So
Oh
like
my goodness.
I couldn't do a lot. And
Yeah.
so moving to uni was a massive thing for me. And even at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And obviously now I'm still living in Devon 5 years
Yeah.
later. And it
Wow.
was the most like rewarding thing I could have ever done. Like I've grown so much as a
Mm,
person, like aside from uni and aside from my illustration journey, like my confidence, it was a massive confidence booster for me, basically. And I
mm,
think that's just what started everything with,
yeah.
yeah, like the whole illustration journey, really. And obviously, like all through my degree, I was looking at like my course mates and thinking everyone's so much better than me. And even looking
Mm,
back at my work in first year, like there was so much room for improvement. And like I can
mm.
happily say that that improvement has been made. Like
Woohoo.
I see my work now compared to when I was in first year 5 years ago, and I can see the difference.
Yeah.
Like I've grown a lot, and but again, there was at multiple times during that I doubted myself so much. And my family always say that I'm too harsh on myself and I'm such a perfectionist, but I'm also glad I'm that way because if I wasn't
Yeah,
that way, then I wouldn't be where I am now. Like
exactly.
I can confidently say like I am glad that I've got the determination that I've got.
Thank you so much for enjoying this series with me, all about the joy catcher. And just in case you missed it at the very beginning, you can pick up this book right now. If you're looking for a book that can encourage, that can inspire, maybe even hold on to a dream that you want to have, well, come and pick it up. The Joy Catcher is available on Amazon and hopefully other bookstores. But to get the latest news, check out thejoycatcherbook.com, or you can also look at bethanyboring.com. And again, I would love to see you in one of the groups. More information at bethanyboring.com. And remember, dare to do more than just survive. Step out and thrive. See you guys back next week. Bye.